What's up, everyone? This is Nate, and I'm back with another Director Top 5. Now, this one was requested by another one of our patrons. The last one, John Carpenter, requested by one of our patrons named Robert. This one, requested by Jay. He gave me two options. I chose one of them. He asked me, what are my top 5 favorite Quentin Tarantino films? So, very popular director. A lot of people love him. I do love him as well. This was a hard one to do, and this, I hope it's not controversial. I don't know, but my list is probably going to be different than a lot of other people's lists. I think Tarantino is one of those directors where you ask 5 people what's their top 5, you'll get 5 different answers. So he's just that kind of filmmaker. These are my 5. Please don't yell at me in the comments, but do comment. Let me know what your top 5 Tarantino movies are. I would love to see your lists. Of course, if you would also please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the bell icon. That way you get notified every time. And give me a like down below. If you like Quentin Tarantino, just like the video as well. All right, here goes my top 5 video. My top 5 Quentin Tarantino movies. I'm going to start number 5 with his original first movie, and that is Reservoir Dogs. I think Reservoir Dogs is really good. And I think one of the reasons I like it so much is knowing it's a debut feature and him already kind of showing what kind of filmmaker he was going to be. I think it was a very strong intro. I love the cast, obviously. Harvey Keitel is amazing in this. You also got Quentin Tarantino plays in it, Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, who's amazing in this movie, by the way, as well. He's super, super good. And it's just a good kind of crime flick, right? It's like a heist movie, and it has his staples. He obviously would get better over time. And, you know, as I think all the other movies that came after this are better. But I do think this is better than even some of the movies that came after it, in my opinion. So that's going to be my number 5. Now, here's where we're probably going to get controversial. I don't think my top 3 will be that controversial, but I think my number 4 might be. So it's in this box set here. This is the Quentin Tarantino XX box set. And that is going to be the movie Death Proof. Now, I know a lot of people, this is not their favorite, and that's okay. I love Grindhouse. I love that experience. I saw it at midnight in the theater, Planet Terror, fake trailers, Death Proof right after. It was like a 4-hour experience with trailers and everything. And I saw it at midnight with my cousin Josh. And we loved it. And I absolutely loved it. I'll never forget it as a cinematic experience. That being said, I love Death Proof. I just think it's so cool to see a director that is that talented kind of make his version of a 70s grindhouse, B movie. And you got Kurt Russell in here, who is absolutely amazing. The car, I've said it on so many videos already, like live shows and things like that. The car chase scene that ends this movie is one of my favorite car chase scenes in movies, period. I think Zoe Bell is hilarious in this movie. Rosario Dawson is awesome in this movie. It's just, the first half of it is, you meet these characters and they're not the ones you end up with. I love that sort of twist. And yeah, I love Death Proof. I don't care. I know it's not a lot of people's favorite. It is one of mine. All right. My number 3. Oh, this might be controversial too. My number 3 is going to be Pulp Fiction. Now, I don't think it's controversial that it's on my list. I think for a lot of people, this is number 1, maybe number 2. For me, it's 3. I think it's great. It is one of those movies, though, that I didn't see it when it came out. I mean, when it came out, I was 7 years old. So I didn't see it till I was older. And I actually saw it after a lot of his other films. And I do think it's an amazing film. Obviously, it's in my top 3. Uma Thurman's performance is great. John Travolta, he pretty much brought this guy back from the dead, his career at least. Samuel L. Jackson, of course. There's just the story's kind of like non-linear, like a lot of his other movies. It's kind of like, jumps around a little bit. And there's elements of it that I like a lot more than other elements. Like I said, I still think it is a masterpiece. I'd give it a 10 out of 10, but I would also give the other 2 movies on here a 10 out of 10. And I think I just like them better. So my number 2 is actually his most recent movie, and that is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, I don't know what happened here. And what I mean by that is I went to see this movie in the theater, and I thought I was going to like it. I absolutely love Leonardo DiCaprio. Probably my second favorite actor, right after Denzel. Anything he's in, I'm seeing it. I love DiCaprio. And I love Brad Pitt, and I love Margot Robbie. So I went for the stars, and of course, it's Tarantino, but there's just something. I love film. I love movies, obviously. And there's something about movies that are about movies or set in the industry that just does it for me. And this movie although it takes real life events and elements, Charles Manson, things like that, but it makes it like fictional, similar to another movie that I'm going to talk about in a second. And I just think it worked for me. I loved it. It's one of those buddy movies. It's one of those chill out movies. You just kind of put it on. People are talking. It looks great. The music is awesome. The performances are awesome. And yeah, I love that movie. I think it is absolutely fantastic. But my number one is going to be Inglorious Bastards. Now, maybe not a lot of other people's number one, but Christoph Waltz's performance alone puts this at the top for me. I remember sitting in the theater in that opening scene where he's talking at the table with the guy, and it's just a conversation. And I swear it's one of the most suspenseful things that I've ever watched. Just this guy talking as it goes on and goes on and goes on, like it's building up and they're just talking. And after that, I was hooked. Anything else that happened in the movie didn't matter to me. I was absolutely hooked. And then the rest of the movie is great. I love Brad Pitt in this. He's hilarious. This movie's pretty funny, honestly. The whole Hugo Stiglitz thing cracks me up. You got Eli Roth as the Bear Jew. You got Diane Kruger is great in this. Melanie Laurent is great in this. I mean, the performances are great. There's some little bit of action in here. It's Tarantino, so it's pretty violent, but it's great. Great story, a great kind of revisionist version of like Hitler and World War II. And I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. So it is actually my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Let me get this out the way now. I pretty much like not 10 of his movies? Not if Kill Bill it's 2 movies. 10. I love them all. I love Kill Bill. I love Kill Bill 2. I love Django. The Hateful Eight's the only one I don't love, actually. I don't love The Hateful Eight. I think it's fine. That's probably my least favorite. So this one was tough, but these are my top 5. Again, that is going to be Reservoir Dogs, followed by Death Proof, Pulp Fiction, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then Inglorious Bastards. Please, like I said, let me know in the comments down below what your top 5 Quentin Tarantino movies are. And I will be back next week with another requested one. I'm going to be doing some Robert Rodriguez. So keep an eye out for that. Until then, take it easy.